Okay, Dave, thanks for joining us a few days after the end of a good season for you in League One, but obviously the work continues for you. You've been doing it, I would think, for the last few weeks, but you've announced your retain list, you've finalised it. Can you just run through what you've done, please?
Yeah, obviously, as always at this time of year, you have to make some real tough decisions, and much the same as last year. This year was not easy. There's some some older pros that have, with Daniel and Ollie and certainly Eddie, that we've released with heavy hearts again. I have to say Eddie was fantastic for us. He came in from Blackpool. I don't think we knew we were getting a good player, but I think there was a lot of people that thought he was sort of a utility player, and what have you. But we knew we were getting a good player. We knew we were going to get a real good player, and that's how it turned out. And it was terrific for us for two seasons, 2.5 seasons. And much like the others, Daniel and Ollie, we wish him all the best. Ollie's been very good this season. A bit of a stop-start season. I suppose Daniel and Ollie had sort of contrasting 2-year spells with us. Daniel was sort of very good last year, but has had a stop-start season this year. Whereas Ollie had a stop-start season last year and has been okay this year. But in both we felt with both them players, we've got to look to improve, and we chose them 2 specific areas. Obviously, Owendale has made that with Daniel slightly easier, and Charlie on the other side. But we've got Billy Sass-Davis, who's doing ever so well at Yeovil, and we're going to watch him next Saturday, Tuesday or Saturday. So he's doing well, so that makes the whole decision a bit easier as well. I can't hear you, Glenn.
It's never easy at this particular time, is it, for any football manager to be, looking at players' livelihoods? It's their life in front of them, isn't it? Can you just explain a little bit how you came to those final decisions?
Well, like I've just said, with them 3 particular players, Eddie obviously has been injured for a while, and then we haven't spoke to Motherwell, and he hurt his calf in the first week up there, which was unfortunate for him and Motherwell. So that is obviously a factor, but he's getting fit, and he'll be fit, and he'll be a real good addition to someone, that's for sure. He'll definitely be a real good addition to someone. But with him and Ollie, we felt that with Billy Sass-Davis doing well, we're going, well, we've got to give him a chance. He deserves a chance. We will bring a centre-half in or 2. Yes, we will. And with Ollie, like I say, he's had a decent season this season, but not great last year. And that's the same, with Daniel. With obviously Owendale has been terrific for us this year. If Owendale had have not progressed in such a rapid fashion, it might have been different with Daniel. But you've got to make these decisions. You've got to, unfortunately. And yeah, you say it's not easy for me. It's harder for the players. They've got to go and find a new job. It's not a nice time for anyone. But like I say, we wish the players all the best, and I'm sure they will. I'm sure they will get fixed up because they're good players.
With those players leaving and a couple likely to be assessing the options, we'll talk a bit more about them in depth in a moment or two's time. What do you think in terms of numbers that you'll be looking for, Dave, to bring in to build on what has been a very encouraging and a progressive season that's just gone by?
Well, we've got to improve all over the pitch. So, there's, we've got to look for all positions and see what we can. We're not in a position resource-wise to just go, right, we'll go and get the best player in this position, and knowing that that's enough, because we don't work like that. So we've got to make sure we're covering as many bases as we can. We're all working hard. I've been on the phone all day. I know at least 2 of the members of the staff have been in the same, because I emailed them last night to tell them, and they've been phoning me to tell me. So, you know, and a couple of them are doing work on our own players. So we've got to improve all over the pitch. How many we're going to bring in? It'll certainly be more than the last couple of years, 5 and 6. It'll be definitely more than that. What number? What final number? I don't know. I can't say, because you know, I think, would it be 8, 9, 10? Yeah, maybe. What if we sell someone else? We make a bid that we can't refuse for one of our players. I might make it 11. So, you know, they're the numbers we're looking at. But it'll all depend on. We're not just going to bring players in for the sake of bringing them in. We want to bring players who are fit, ready to play, and are better than what we've had.
A couple of names in the likes of Ryan Wintle and Omar Beckles are being linked, possibly to looking elsewhere for what their options are. Of course, Dave, does that door remain open for you, because you would have offered them a contract?
I think with Ryan, I think the door's been shut firmly, to be honest. Which is not. I don't take that as a me throwing my toys out of my pram. It's not. We offered him a contract a long time ago, well over a year ago, and he's not signed it. So, you know, that's fine. That's not fine, but you know, that's the way of the world. So I'm not expecting him to change his mind in the last week or so, last 2 weeks. And I've had calls off Championship managers and directors of football about him. So I can't imagine him staying with us. So that's the situation with Ryan. With regards to Omar, I think he's in a real quandary, and I think he's trying to give himself as much time as he can to see where the land lies with him, with other clubs. So, have I set a deadline? No, I haven't. But I'll be speaking to him tomorrow, and seeing where he's at, and you know, we'll go from there. Are we going to wait forever? No, we're not. Of course, we're not. And that's sort of where we're at with Omar.
What about the evergreen Chris Porter? He'll be 38 next birthday. You've offered him a new deal, and
yeah,
you know, I just want to talk a bit more about him. Is there another sort of role that could come into his signing of a contract that you can to tell us?
The short answer is no. I spoke to Chris this morning again. He's sending me an email tonight or tomorrow. It's all very adult, all very civil. You know, I've said to him, I'll be as flexible as I can with what you see as valuable going forward in your life. You know, and try and structure a deal. So if he wants to do some coaching, for example, I'll try and facilitate that. If he wants to do coaching badges, we'll try and facilitate that. We've already done that with a whole group of players. You know, I think it was like 12 of them that did their B license at EC. So he knows we're good for that, and he knows that we can help him with that. And he's at a good club to learn, a very good club to learn. That's if he, you know, wants to do that. You know, the ball's in his court, if you like. So we've got to wait and see exactly what Chris wants to do. You know, if he just wants to earn as much money as he can, then it might not be with us. But Chris is old enough, wise enough to you know, an adult enough to have them conversations, and we'll keep talking. So that's where we are with Chris.
He must feel that, you know, it's great still to be offered that 12-month contract and potentially some other role in the club when he's reaching 38 years of age. You know, if he does stay, it's 4 years since you went down to that airport before he went on holiday to bring him back to the club. Would you? You made some good signings in the time that you've been in charge. Would you put him up with the best?
Yeah, I don't think you can talk about that. I've never really thought about best and worst signings, to be honest. But he's certainly earned his corn and proved his value, and it was certainly worth a 3.5-hour trip to Gatwick. So yeah, I don't. He's a terrific fella, real clever fella. you know, and you don't, you know, you have to make sure that you, you know, you can't just dismiss players of his caliber, irrespective of what age he is. You just can't. Is a terrific pro still, real good pro. If he does sign, will he have an amended schedule last year? Yeah, next year. Yeah. Why? He got injured in pre-season, thinking he was invincible. You know, that's him. Me thinking he was invincible and not telling him to have a day inside. And we've had that chat already and said, you know, we've got to be really sensible with you, you know, because we don't want you missing games. You know, you'll still get fit. He's done it for 20 years. He'll still get fit on the first day of the season. So hopefully that sort of common ground, that relationship, that understanding from manager to player and player to manager does bode well for us. But then, you know, the ball's in Chris's court at the minute. If he does go somewhere else, he'll have to have them conversations and start that relationship afresh, which, you know, hopefully won't even happen. But if it does, then he runs the risk of what happened last year, if you like, in pre-season, and Chris certainly won't want that. So, you know, there's a lot of factors in our favour, but, you know, Chris also knows his value because he's been doing it a long time. So we've got to make sure that we just keep speaking and open and honest and as adults, and hopefully we'll get to a solution.
You would have been in talks as well with your board of directors. You have regular meetings. Have you been informed of your budget, and have you gone out the bottom four for next season?
I don't know if we've gone out the bottom four, and we never have a set number. We don't. You know, the chairman and the board always say just come to us. The worst we can say is no. Yes, we have a rough figure to work to, but that can go up or down depending on things. You know, it is what it is. You know, so yeah, we work to a rough figure, and like I say, if it's at the bottom four, I don't mean we'll finish out the bottom four. It's about what you do in terms of recruitment and what you do in terms of coaching that's important, and we've got to make sure we're better than everyone else. That's why we've finished 12 places higher than his budget this year.
How do you feel the market's going to be, Dave, this summer, especially after the last 12 months of how it's been for everybody? And you just mentioned that 12th place finish. It's good progress. Do you feel that helps with your recruitment drive as well?
Well, I think it's got the biggest factor is money. Make no bones about it. The biggest factor is money. Anyone who says it isn't is lying. You've got to have a, you know, even if players, agents see the potential development of their player or themselves at Crew Alexandra, there's still a bottom figure that everyone wants. So that's the biggest thing. After that, style of football, manager, what he's like, you know, formations, and also league position, whatever weight they may be, depends on the individuals. But it's certainly better finishing 12th than 22nd, that's for sure. So yeah, it does help, but how much depends on the individual.
Well, you've over the years brought in loan players, and you've had quite a lot of success with loan players. It's good to have those contacts, isn't it? Is that another area that you explore, and things are ongoing with that as well?
Yeah. I spoke to a club. Well, I've had an email from a club this morning and spoke to them saying, you know, here's what we've got. We're actually going to have some players in from a Premier League club for the last 2 weeks of the season, where that didn't materialise for various reasons. To look at them as potential loans for next year. So we're just looking for good players. You know, loan players tend to be cheaper, but then you've got the risk that they can be sort of whipped away from you halfway through the season. So well, that's where we're at. We've got to find some good players to improve us, if that's the challenge.
A big period coming up. You've already mentioned him, Billy Sass Davis. Travis Johnson, a couple of players already you've triggered 12 months on, and they would have seen the success of quite a few youngsters this season who've bridged the gap from being in League Two to being in the top half of League One, and even Regan Griffiths, who's another one with a contract. A big time for them lads.
Yeah, I'm going to watch. Like I say, I'm going to watch Regan and Billy next. It might be this Saturday and next Tuesday. I can't remember. But I know I've requested the tickets. One of them's got Altrincham and one of them's got Wrexham. So it's good timing. So yeah, them two in particular, because they are out on loan. Sometimes I know for a fact Owen Dale a few years ago thought he was getting released because he was on loan at Whitton and Altrincham, and that certainly wasn't the case. And I think now Billy understands, and I hope he understands. I need to have a chat with Billy to make sure he does understand, and I know Regan does understand. They're there to get close to our first team, not to get put in the shop window to get a new club. That's why we've offered them the deals. And next season for both them two in particular is big seasons for them, because they need to be in the first team or very close to it. And I've said Regan's been in the first team this year. He did ever so well, albeit, checker trade games. I think he come on somewhere as well. He come on in the league somewhere, I can't remember where. And Billy, if he wasn't out on loan, probably would have done the same. So, them two have got to, keep pushing on, keep progressing, use the experience that they're gaining now to play in our first team next year. That's the development plan, and that's the business model of this football club, and that will continue while I'm in post.
Just wrapping up all about the retain list and the contracts. Tyrese Oniki, Nathan Woodthorpe, Joe Robbins, already done and dusted. The next group of the youngsters, hopefully, that are going to emerge at the Alexandra Stadium for you.
Yeah, them three have been terrific this season. 3 first-year pros. Nathan, for the last sort of 6 weeks, has had a stress fracture. But for the first 3 quarters of the season, for him and for the other two all season, they've virtually been fit all year. Now, for a first-year pro, that's an achievement in itself, because the standard goes up, the physical demands go up, and it places a greater emphasis on you as an individual before even trying to get in the team or anything like that. You've got to actually cope. And them 3 have been terrific. We had a couple of first-year pros the year before, and they really struggled physically, whereas these 3 have gone, well, just rolled up the sleeves and been out there every day. And that in itself improves them. So they've been credit to themselves, them 3. They've still got a hell of a long way to go, of course. We've got some real development with them. But then, Joe's been out on loan and sampled the conference with Altrincham already, which is a fantastic achievement. And I know for a fact Nathan, it'd be a bit like his dad. He'll cope at that level easy. So we've got to get that experience into him, and Tyrese has still got a bit more development to do. So, they've still, all of them have got a long way to go, but we're delighted to have them.